Hello and welcome to my first Q&A video. This is the opportunity for you guys to ask your questions on what you want to know pre-season, and I'm going to answer those questions that have come in from my Instagram and YouTube channel. My name is David Pittard. I'm a Nrburgring champion, international racing driver and driver coach with over 20 years experience in the motorsport industry, as well as all-round petrol head. It's race season, finally we can now start to talk about racing. And in today's video, I'll ask you guys on my social medias what you want to know about the pre-season and any other questions you have going on. And in this video, we're going to answer them. I'm going to try and do this Q&A format a couple of times throughout the year to keep you guys updated and make sure I'm answering any questions that you have about the season so far. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, stay following my Instagram as well so you don't miss a chance to get your questions featured and your questions answered. We had a great response of questions coming in on both Instagram and on YouTube, and I'm going to answer my favourite ones. So let's go. The first couple of questions actually comes in from KAGT, and they read, do you prepare beforehand, and if you do, how or what do you do? First of all, I'll tackle that question. Yes, a huge amount of preparation goes into this stuff. I mean, we're fighting against and battling against some of the best GT manufacturers and drivers on the toughest track of the world and toughest championships in the world as well. So a huge amount goes into reviewing what's happened in the previous season, what was good, what was bad, and obviously noting down what went good so we can keep repeating and working on that, but also what went bad, what were our weaknesses and where we can improve. And that comes from all aspects. That comes down to myself as a driver. What did I do good? What did I do bad? What was the car doing? Was there an inherent handling characteristic that we couldn't ever get out of the car? Is there something we really need to focus on that's going to gain us the most amount of lap time, either over a qualifying or over a race run as well? So we're always looking to improve. Were the pit stops efficient? Were our debriefs efficient enough that we were communicating correctly between driver and engineers? There's so much goes on in the review process in the winter months to make sure that we are extracting everything out of our package when we hit the ground running for the first test of 2021. So this involves looking through a lot of data, meetings with the engineer, Max, who's in charge of the car, Mark, who is a Yokohama employee, so he takes our needs and what we want, and he's the middleman between us, Vulcan Horse Motorsport, and Yokohama in Japan, who can build the best tyres and the fastest tyres for the M6 this year. That just scratches the surface on what we review and how we plan. Obviously a huge amount goes into the physical aspect, so I'm training to make sure I'm at my own personal target weight, I'm in the right mindset, my mind frame, I know what I have to focus on to make sure that I can deliver the best performance as well. Second question from KAGT is, what is the equivalent of a track walk look like on the Nordschleife? Well, we actually did walk the track earlier on in the year, so here's a couple of photos from that. Obviously you can't turn up on a race weekend and then walk the circuit because you're pretty knackered by the time you finish the track walk and then go straight into the race weekend. So I'm actually living in Germany at the moment. The ring is only 1 hour from me away, and I've actually managed to do a couple of days testing there with clients and customers, so as well as obviously driving, I'm driver coaching, and they want coaching at the Nrburgring. So we've done some days round the circuit, so that gives me an idea of seeing what the differences are on the circuit. There's always tweaks that the circuit make over winter, whether it's a little bit of resurfacing or new Marshall boards or something like that, something that I've already seen. I've done multiple laps of the GP circuit and the Nordschleife, so I think I am up to date with all the changes, and it's also nice to just kind of refresh where everything is and where it goes. However, none of this is really comparable when it comes to being in a GT3 car, because just there's nothing that can really prepare you apart from being in a GT3 car at the circuit. But yeah, even taking everything in at a slower pace in some slower cars actually helps you pick up those extra details that you might miss when you're driving super fast in a GT3 car. Another good question is, any opinion on Robert Kubica joining the NLS grid this year? I think it's awesome that a former Formula 1 driver is coming into the NLS Championship. I believe that he firmly has his sights set on competing in the Nrburgring 24 hours in the future, which is I think one of the major events of the entire motorsport calendar. What I think is also brilliant at the Nrburgring is that Any driver, regardless of their previous experience, whether they're a world-class rally driver like Robert Kubica or a Formula 1 driver and race winner, they still have to go through their permit application. So Robert will actually be driving a lower class V5 Porsche Cayman this year for this first couple of races, whilst he gains the necessary experience to obtain his A permit license, and that will allow him to then drive the faster cars on the grid. I know that Robert brought a lot of attention to the Nrburgring at the end of last year with Misha's vlogs when Robert took Misha around the Nrburgring in the Apex M4. That was quite impressive to watch. So yeah, I hope that he can add to the exposure of both the NLS Championship and the Nrburgring going forward as well. Similar questions were also answered by Smurf F of what's your routine leading up to race week. I mean, I've done all of my preparation in the weeks and months leading up to this week, so race week is actually trying to take it as chill and relaxed as possible, reducing my focus on the race weekend because I believe I've done all the focusing I need to do, and also from a physical aspect as well. So yeah, just making sure I'm ready, there's no surprises, so that I can arrive at the racetrack as calm, cool and collected as possible. And then B is for back. One of my favourite questions that came in is something weird you've done in preparation for the season. And probably the weirdest thing I can think of that I did in preparation was learn to juggle. Learning to juggle is something that helps train your hand-eye coordination, and also you can use it as a warm-up again for your hand-eye coordination as well. So still practice needed. And now some more quick-fire questions. Coming in from A. What tyres do you run on the car? Obviously we'll be running and working with Yokohama again this year. Coming in from Kevin, one of my mechanics and my fuel man from Kyalami. Will I miss him there? Yes, of course Kevin, we'll miss you there. Please come back to work for the team as soon as you can. A lot of people asked about snow, and must admit I'm kind of ignoring the fact that snow looks a very likely possibility, especially on Saturday. So Sebastian Vettel asked this question, as well as Niku as well. Yeah, I'll tell you on Saturday whether it's snowing or not. NBR Lewis 286 asked what's new for Volkenhorst this year. New for the team is obviously a new driver lineup in the pro car category. We're welcoming Ben Tuck, who's graduated from the BMW 240s, then the M4, also in DTM Trophy as well, and now he steps up to the GT3 car. I've known Ben for a long time. I think he'll be rapid, which will be really good. There are no M4s in the team this year, so we've got rid of those cars. And we welcome on board the M2 CS Racing as well, so there'll be a new entry-level BMW car for the team as well. And coming in from Real Car Germany, always asking, when's the next Code Brown overtake? And I think the next Code Brown overtake will probably be on lap 1, turn 1 of the first race of the year. Also, another very common question coming in is, do you feel excited or anxious about the race, or is it just another day in the office? And this comes in from KR Matty, also JG, Shimmerman, Eric N and Francisco Silva. So yeah, obviously you definitely do get nerves, and you're excited and anxious. You're all emotions on race day. It really is quite a roller coaster. But I think the trick is to really focus on those emotions at the right time. So for example, when getting in the car, you need to be super focused. You have to go out each time with a plan. If you go out on track without a plan, it's kind of just wasted track time, and you just feel a bit lost, and that's where I could see nerves could potentially get better on you. But if you know exactly your objectives for the session ahead, then those are the things to focus on, and that's what keeps me calm, that's what keeps me focused, that's what keeps me concentrated to make sure that I do a good job. And then obviously the excitement comes after the race. You don't want to be too excited at the beginning, before starting a stint, because you need to be focused on what you want to achieve. But at the end of the stint, then yeah, you can be super excited because yeah, I'm very fortunate and very lucky to be doing what I'm doing, driving race cars super fast, and yeah, that's when the excitement really does come out. Some more quick-fire questions coming through. Do you think you have chances to win on Yokohama tyres when it's wet, coming from Motorsport's Actual? Yes, I think we're going in the right direction, definitely. The guys from Japan have listened to our feedback. Mark has been great at working the middle ground between Volkenhorst and Yokohama. And at the Nrburgring 24 Hours last year, we made some big steps towards the Michelin cars. I think if the race is fully wet, then yes, we will have a chance, but when it comes to those mixed conditions, that's where we really have to improve and focus on how we can close the gap to the Michelin tyre, because I think realistically they still have an advantage in those conditions. Coming in from Luca Shink 1. Again in the total car, yes, we will be in the total car. Livery will be revealed tomorrow morning, so make sure you stay following my Instagram for the first shots of that to appear. And coming in from Oscar, will spectators be allowed again? I don't know, certainly not at NLS 1, but I hope that in the future, the numbers in Europe are kind of going the wrong way at the moment for spectators to be allowed, but I hope that during the summer NLS will allow spectators in again. They did it last year, so fingers crossed they can do it again this year. Another good question coming in from Supercars of the Eiffel. Is there a way to get into racing with a low budget when you are in your 20s? Yes, absolutely. I think there's a number of ways and championships that you can compete in, specifically focusing on Germany. I must admit I'm not hugely experienced on the entry-level championships in this country. However, there are two championships that really stand out to me. Number one is the RCN and GLP championship. So they're not necessarily racing, they're almost like a time trial championship is the best way to describe it. However, you can turn up in all sorts of cars there and people just turn up for fun with super low budgets, just with their friends helping out, for example. Really definitely check out the website on the screen now, because the RCN I think is a great way to enjoy the Nordschleife in a competitive environment without jumping into the NLS Championship, which could be potentially expensive, especially for someone in their 20s. But yeah, if you want it, make sure you work for it. If you really want it, then there's nothing that can stop you from doing it. So again, set out your plan, work your plan to make sure you get the results that you want. The second championship, I believe, is the Youngtimer Trophy, and that's tours circuits around in and around Germany. I know they go to the Nrburgring Grand Prix circuit, Hockenheim, Oschersleben, for example. And again, this is stuff for not brand new cars, but slightly older cars, maybe 10, 20, and older as well when you come into the Youngtimer and Oldtimer cars as well. They're great ways to get into racing cheap as well. You can build your own car, you can share a drive with someone, all those things are a great way, so definitely check out that website as well. And then another question, both asked by two people, which is what is the objectives for the season, coming in from TNGU Lube 16 and also from SimRacer Fabi. What do you think to the first round and what's your goal in the championship? Where do you want to finish at the end of the NLS Championship? I mean, I'm defending SP9 Pro champion and Volkenhorst are defending Rover Speed Trophy champions. I think the main focus will really be on the Rover Speed Trophy for the team. We want to try and wrap that up again, and I don't see any reason why we can't win that championship again. We're focused and entering on all of the rounds, which means we will be focused on scoring good points at all those rounds, so I don't see why we can't replicate that again. And then finally, coming into a slightly more in-depth question and more focused maybe towards the Nürburgring 24 hours from Stingray TT. When driving the 24 hours on the Nordschleife as an example, do you go as fast as you can on the limits of the car and your skill, or do you drive a bit slower at 96% but more safely instead? It'd be really interesting to know, because in the 24 hours at least, many mistakes could happen. This is very true. I mean, as a driver, you want to drive on the limit as much as you can, but as Stingray TT mentions, there's so many variables that can be involved in the 24-hour race in particular. Weather, skill levels of other drivers, the traffic, the condition, the changing light conditions, etc., etc. So it's very tricky, and I believe what separates a good driver from an okay driver is the fact that they can choose and pick and choose when to take those risks and how hard to push. I mean, I don't think any driver, especially in something as competitive as the GT3 field, would be pushing at 96%. Their margin for error would be 99%, and they need to drive as fast as they can at 99% whilst navigating all of the variables that the Nürburgring 24 hour throws up. So it's a sprint race for 24 hours. There's no safety cars that bunch the cars back up again or anything like that. There's only obviously the code 60 zones, but I think that's a very there's no advantage or disadvantage really to be gained from those areas. So you have to win it on pure pace, which means that you have to push as close to the limit as each driver feels comfortable, and that not only comes down to their one lap outright qualifying pace, but also comes down to their way that they manage traffic, manage situations and manage risks as well. I hope I was able to answer all of your questions, and it gives you the best idea possible on everything that's happening pre-season going into the race season that's finally happening. Big thank you to everyone that contributed and asked questions as well. To get me in the mood for the Nordschleife, please make sure you check out these onboard highlights from NLS1 last year where we won the race. Check out my vlog from NLS1 here to get you in the mood for race season, and stay subscribed up here. Until next time, it's Dan.